300-day time frame.
Do you think that there is a need, Mr. Das, to institutionalize this new public-private partnership in that sense? Should this be not just when a scandal breaks out, but for the government to actually have people like you, minds like you, work in tandem with them to actually institutionalize something like this?
Government trusted us, all right? I don't know whether they knew they could trust us when they put us in. I think there was a feeling that they could trust us. Eventually they found everything we were doing seemed to be the right thing, so that trust evolved. So coming to a point of institutional, yes, but I mean, you've got to find some volunteers.
I know. It must have been. It must have been.
I don't think we're in that.
You're not,
we're not in that business.
You've gotten out of that business.
Somebody else.
So this public-private partnership is over. But this is a genuine problem, isn't it, Mr. Parekh? The fact that you don't really have willing participants from the private sector to give their time, bandwidth and commitment. I'm sure they are, but it will still be a difficult task, isn't it? I mean, I can imagine how difficult it was for the 6 of you, for instance.
We were persuaded, strongly persuaded to take up this task. And many of us were reluctant because we didn't know what we were getting into.
The gentleman who gave us the award this evening hit us on the head.
So you were left with no choice, basically.
No, but I must say, Shirin, there are enough people. There are, to the point that Tarun made, I want to reiterate that, I mean, more seriously, there are many people, and we have had recent examples. I mean, if Nandan comes on board, if Sam is willing to spend time, Sam Pitroda, I think there are people, there are, you just have to ask, but they must feel that they're going to have the freedom and flexibility and the independence. That's critical.
That's an important thing. The trust deficit that existed between the private sector and the government, you think that we've made a significant leap in that?
I think that's critical, absolutely. And it's a mindset change in the government where there is greater trust.
How in touch are you currently with what's happening with Satyam, and are you keeping a watch on what's going on there?
Mr. still on the board.
I know, Mr. is still on the board. His question is directed to the 3 of you.
I watch CNBC, I read the newspapers.
But the UPaid settlement has finally happened. That was a big worry as far as you were concerned. Not 10 million, but finally 70 million. So, but you think a lot of the uncertainty now as far as the company is concerned is out of the way?
All of it is not over yet, but I think UPaid was a big concern. Class action suits are still pending, but the stock price has bounced back, and so the losses that shareholders would have made on Satyam stock would come down, and hopefully that should not be a very large amount that Satyam, the new management, will have to settle. But all class action suits are settled out of court.
That's right.
And even this one will go that way. And we hope it's a modest amount.
Mr. Das, let me start by asking you, to your mind, what was the most challenging moment personally for you, and what to your mind has been your biggest lesson through all of this?
I think to be put into a room with 5 people who had not worked with each other before, that was a big challenge.
Were there disagreements?
And then we gelled. Of course there were disagreements. We were up
What
every
was the
night.
biggest disagreement?
We were up every night till midnight. Every night. That was the informal board meeting, But we eventually there was unanimity. We convinced each other, and we did. That was number one. So we crossed that huge bridge. And the second was reaching out to employees and customers and governments and keeping everybody together.
No problem is insurmountable if there is a team and the team works in tandem.
But was there a point, Mr. Parekh, when you thought that you wouldn't be able to help?
Sure, there were many moments where we thought that we will, fall flat on our face.
Give me an anecdote of what really went on at that point in time when at some of these moments you thought that it was not going to work.
Well, in 32 years I have never dreamt about HDFC, but in that 3 months I have many nights about problems.
Dreams are nightmares. Okay, Mr. Karnik?
Many challenges and many difficult times, but a lot of learning, I think tremendous, and as we've all emphasized, it was amazing how we were able to work together. And to me the learning was not only the fact that we had people who were completely committed and dedicated and give up everything else to come and do this job, but the very clear goal. And I think this is something which at the broader level is so obvious in that we forget it, that if you have the so-called superordinate goal, then people work towards that. You need some goal, something which makes sure and well defined and clear, and you do that. Otherwise, you muddle here and there.
Do you think the Satyam revival has also, in that sense, enhanced brand India's credibility as far as global investors are concerned?
Well, I think very definitely, and I'm particularly pleased because at one of the very, very early interviews with you, one of your sister channels, when somebody asked me this question, so is this disaster? And I said, no, this is an opportunity, and it's great, because if we can succeed, then investors who are wise know that this, like bomb blast, can happen anywhere in the world. You know, New York, Washington, London, Bali, Barcelona, Delhi, Bombay. In the same way, these disasters, rare as they are, can happen. The question an astute businessman will ask is, if ever it does happen, where can it be handled best? And clearly and unashamedly, we can say it can be handled best in India, because we are the only ones who've done it.
Is that the feedback that you got, Mr. Parekh, as well?
The image of India, the image of the IT. Don't forget, we are the IT capital of the world. And we had to protect our image, that the IT industry is safe and sound in India. And there were times when the IT sector was in danger, and this is the concern the government had, and all of us were worried about the reputation. And we could not damage our reputation, and I think we, as Kiran said, that we had to protect India's image.
But what's the sense that you get,
we
sir,
had
currently?
tough moments. On one side, we were getting government support. We were raising funds, all supports were coming. At the same time, certain government agencies were coming and creating obstacles also. All on a sudden, attachment orders. We were raising money to pay the salary. Then, tax authority, some agencies, they will just get in to take away this money.
But isn't this the problem that we've just finished talking about? The fact that, there is this problem of miscommunication, not enough communication, the right arm doesn't know what the left arm of the government is actually doing, and it continues to exist, doesn't it?
Even now, there is no coordination. Luckily, we had some sort of a coordinating agency in Delhi. They were monitoring it, otherwise it would have been very difficult. No ministry will give up. Everybody will be having their own fancy ideas. So, they are looking at, winning or losing, whereas our goal is something else, reviving the company.
That's right. So since you continue to be on the board, where do things currently stand as far as the financial restatement is concerned? Because, and of course the NYSE, we don't know whether a waiver will be given or an extension will actually be given. Where do things currently stand
very
as far as...
soon it will be over, perhaps in 2-3 months' time.
Okay.
You're
saying the NYSE will go ahead and give an exemption?
Our team is working on that, and they've reached more or less the final stage.
And as far as the restatement of accounts are concerned?
The same process.
Okay. And class action lawsuits.
No,
I'm sorry, I'm getting all the news questions to you because you're still there,
there
sir.
is a set pattern.
Okay.
So, the claimants also will be anxious to have a settlement. The company is also ready if it is reasonable.
Well, gentlemen, many thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure having all of you. Congratulations once again. And I hope you don't have to do this again. But thank you very much for joining us on this special. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Time for us to take a break, but when we return, 2 more of the board members who helped revive the Satyam story will join us on this special.